Shalom, Shalom, Shabbat, Adonai. Welcome to the Sixth Exodus program. Thank you for listening. The name of this segment is Covenants. I'd like to read to you the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 9, verses 1 through 13. But prior to reading the scripture, it's concerning David and Jonathan. Okay, let's talk about the first covenants that God had made. First, He made Garden of Eden with Adam. The covenant was one law He gave Adam, not 10. He only gave him one law, was not to eat of the tree of knowledge and the tree of good and evil. It was not, it was told not to eat it. Now I want to tell you that the covenants that God has made with man, our ancestors, some of them was conditional and some was non-conditional. Okay, the next covenant that he made was with Abraham concerning the foreskin of a man's flesh at 8 days of birth. Also, the covenant he made with Abraham concerning his seed would be in a foreign land for 400 years, and that they would come back to the land and dwell there. He also tells Abraham that this land that he gives to him, and Abraham said, "How do I know that I will receive this land, seeing that I am childless and I have this servant from Damascus named Eliezer?" So he believed God, and he told him about the sands of the sea, and he also told him about the stars in the sky to say, count them. He said, this is how many your seed will be. Well, it is definitely true. Have you thought about the people that are God's seed today? Have you thought about the countries that God has scattered that are God's seed? I have. It's quite a few people. Nevertheless, the next covenant he made, of course, with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they are the same covenant, but he established a covenant with them that they should continue the covenant. Now he made an everlasting covenant with all of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's an everlasting covenant that for his seed and his seed, all of us for the rest of our lives until this generation, which is the fourth generation, that will go into eternity, which is the chosen generation, the royal priesthood, the chosen generation. That's us. Because the Lord said in the fourth generation, count back to from your mom, which is the third generation, your mom's grandma, your grandma's mom. That would be us, the fourth generation. And even though in the law it said even to the third and fourth generation. So that's us. Now I want to tell you about these covenants here concerning our ancestors, and of course the blood covenant, which is the sprinkled covenant that God sprinkled on the children of Israel, and then they agreed. Now concerning the conditional and non-conditional covenants, is that a covenant has a two-way agreement. That means let's agree. You agree, I agree, and both of us are going to have to come to terms with our agreement. That means you have something to do, and I have something to do. However, a non-conditional covenant is that you are not required to do anything. For example, the covenant that God gave to Abraham before Isaac was born, he had the covenant. Okay, same thing with us. Before we was born, before we knew we was Hebrew, in the United States and the rest of the countries around the world, had us believe we was spear chuckers, jungle bunnies, Africans. They called us every name, a different name every year. Uh, Zulu. Now they have made a movie. This movie, what's this movie? This guy who's African and he wears this tight suits. And so the media is constantly bombarding us because they don't want us to know who we are. And those who don't know, they'll target them and even pay them money to seduce us and to get us off of what we're doing, at least to try. But nevertheless, the covenant that we have is not conditional, because he said to your Abraham, your seed, and your seed. I wrote down all these scriptures here about this everlasting covenant. Can I give it to you? I like to share. I'm not going to read them. I'm just going to tell you. And then I would like to read to you a covenant about David and Jonathan. Genesis chapter 9:16, Genesis 9:12, Genesis 17:19, Genesis 17:7, Genesis 17:13, Jeremiah 32:40, Numbers 18:19, 2 Samuel 23:5, 1 Chronicles 16:7, Psalms 105:8, Psalms 105:10, Psalms 111, 5 through 9, Isaiah 55:3, Jeremiah 50, verse 5, Ezekiel 16:16, Ezekiel 37:26, Exodus 31:11, Hebrews 13:20, Hosea 2:19, Luke 1:55. Okay, those are the covenants that God said that He'll make with His seed and His seed. That meaning us who's living today, the fourth generation, and to our children's children forever. So when we're going back to Israel, don't think that we have to die or anything like that. Everything that we're doing now is going to be in Israel. People are going to be having babies. People are going to get old. You had to go to the grocery store. You had to go to the mall. You had to go to the market. It's going to be just like this. Just going to be more. It's going to be a lot more of a lot of things, except the living standards are going to be smaller, the land. But I don't think it's going to bother you at all. It's not going to be 50 states. It's only going to be one. But we'll fit in that one state because the Lord, from the foundations of the world, He said it's enough for us to live in that one place that He promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We're going to fit inside of that place. And we're going to go to football games. We're going to go to basketball games. And we're going to the mountain of God. We're going to the mall. We're going to play shop. We're going shopping. We're going to do all the things that with the Lord right there with us. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it every day, every night. This is what I do. I think about this. Now I'd like to read to you the second book of Daniel, chapter 9. The entire chapter is 13 verses. Okay, this is the covenant between David and Jonathan. Now, David had promised Jonathan that if I become king, I'm going to take care of your family, and vice versa. And this is what happens when you make a covenant. But the covenant means so much to me concerning David and Jonathan. It's very much similar to our lives here and what God is doing and what He's going to do for us. Listen to this. In other words, check this out. 2 Samuel chapter 9, starting with verse number 1 to 13. Let's begin. And David said, Is there yet any that is left in the house of Saul, that I may show kindness for Jonathan's sake? And there was of the house of Saul a servant whose name was Ziba. And when they had called him to David, the king said unto him, Art thou Ziba? And he said, Thy servant is he. And the king said, Is there not any in the house of Saul, that I might show kindness of God unto him? And Ziba said unto the king, Jonathan has yet a son which is lame on his feet. And the king said unto him, Where is he? And Ziba said unto the king, Behold, he is in the house of Machir, the son of Ammiel, in Lodabar. Then the king sent and fetched them out of the house of Machir, the son of Ammiel, from Lodabar. Now when Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, was come to David, he fell on his face and did obeisance and reverence. And David said unto Mephibosheth, and he said, Behold, thy servant. And David said unto him, Fear not, for I will surely show thee kindness for Jonathan thy father's sake, and will restore thee all the land of Saul thy father, and thou shalt eat bread at my table continually. And he bowed himself and said, What is thy servant, that thou shalt look upon such a dead dog as I am? Then the king called to Ziba, Saul's servant, and said unto him, I have given unto thy master's son all that pertaineth to Saul and to his house. Thou therefore and thou shalt and thy sons and thy servants shall till the land for him, and thou shalt bring in the fruits, that thy master's son may have food to eat. But Mephibosheth, thy master's son, shall eat bread always at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then said Ziba unto the king, According to all that my lord the king has commanded his servants, so shall thy servants do. As for Mephibosheth, said the king, and he shall eat at my table, as one of the king's sons. And Mephibosheth had a young son, whose name was Maacah. And all that dwelt in the house of Ziba were servants unto Mephibosheth. So Mephibosheth dwelt in Jerusalem, for he did eat meat continually at the king's table, and was lame on both of his feet. Okay, we're going to stop there. I want to share that with you because the covenant that David and Jonathan made, of course, David, Saul tried to kill David continuously, but the bond and the covenant that David had made with Jonathan, he didn't forget it, and he kept his covenant. And so David asked Ziba, was there anyone in the house of Saul that he may show kindness? And he went to Lodabar, and well, I read to you what happened. No need to say it again. And brought him up to the king's table, and he ate there at the king's table for the rest of his life. So it kind of reminds me of us as far as what God has in store for us when we meet Abraham and our descendants. That's going to be a remarkable thing, especially after the 1,000 years. Now, my understanding about this thing is that from here, this year is 2018. And when we leave this place and we go to the land of our ancestors, we're going to be with Christ 1,000 years on earth. We're going to have it, the life of Riley. 1,000 years with Christ in the Most High on earth together. Now, the beauty of it all is that after the 1,000 years, we go into time no more. It's not going to be time anymore. And then our ancestors, which are dead, which is called the great white throne judgment will happen, and then those who are dead come back to life, and we all live together in Israel forever. 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 We will see death no more. So, majority of you black Hebrews, you black people in America, you black Americans, you will see no death. Most of you will not die ever. You will not die ever. You go on to eternity. You will not die. Your eternal life continues on because you will put on immortality. Can you believe a basketball player that plays basketball who lives who lives eternal? We have heard of such a thing as an eternal living basketball player. We have heard of such a thing. All these ancient people living forever because of the covenant of the Lord. I know in the book of Jude, it said, God, when we see the Most High and we see the one who died for our sins, the Lord said we will have exceedingly great joy. I can't imagine what that's like, exceedingly great joy. The only thing I think about is just rolling on the ground laughing and crying at the same time with exceedingly great joy. Okay, I'm going to end this segment now before I get silly. Okay, this ends the segment of covenant that God made with our ancestors, either with Adam. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you know that there's going to be a banquet when we go back? Don't know when the banquet will be, but there's going to be a banquet for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They are waiting for us. Also, Adam and Eve comes out of the cave of treasure. The Lord told them that after 5,500 years, you come out of there. Now they go into the land of to wait for the Lord's judgment with our other ancestors who have passed. But as for us, we go into the land for 1,000 years, and we will stay there. But the lives that we live here is going to be the same as when we get there. But it'll be with the Most High and the true Son, the Son of the living God, the real one, not the fake one that the Gentiles have, not him. Okay, the covenant is yours, Hebrew Israelites. Okay, thank you for listening and have a great day. Mitzvah.